What's up, world? Welcome back to another episode of Just Grow It, the podcast. I'm your host, Big City Gardener, and today we're talking urban agriculture. So what exactly is urban agriculture? When I think of urban agriculture, I think about really growing and producing as much food in a heavily or densely populated area. Now, normally these areas are inner cities, but suburbs are not excluded. So if you're growing your food anywhere than in these rural areas that is close to where a lot of people live, then in my mind, you are participating in urban agriculture. Now, don't get it twisted and think that urban agriculture only deals with food. When I'm talking urban agriculture, I'm talking about people who are raising chickens or livestock in a urban area, and even people who are doing things like beekeeping in an urban area. Shout out to my homie Nicole from B2B Honey. When it comes to urban agriculture, there are certain cities that are basically synonymous with the concept or the idea of urban agriculture. And unfortunately, Houston is not one of them. But don't worry, Big City Gardener is here to change that. A lot of these cities that I'm about to mention have legislation passed to make sure that urban agriculture is thought about or is a thing or accepted. A lot of these cities have altered their zoning laws to make sure that there are areas that are specifically for urban gardening and urban agriculture. The top cities associated with urban agriculture are Detroit, Portland, Austin, Chicago, Milwaukee, Seattle, Baltimore, and I think Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now, what's crazy to me is that besides Austin, all of these other places experience long periods of cold, which leads me to my next point. How come a place like Houston or other places with warm climates, temperate climates, where we are able to grow year round without the need of hoop houses or other structures, how come places like Houston are not the epicenter for urban agriculture? Hey, something to think about, right? But don't worry, that is why I am here. I am actually on a mission now to make everybody know that Houston is the greatest urban agriculture city on the planet. All right, I think we have an amazing gardening scene here. So let's go ahead and expose it and show it to the world. And then everybody can come here and learn about all of the urban agriculture things that we have going on. They can take it back to their city and copy us. I mean, because most of the other cities, they copy us anyway. Now, let's talk about some of the problems that are associated with urban agriculture. Now, remember, a lot of these are opinionated, but hey, this is my podcast. I get to say what I want. While I love the idea of urban agriculture, it sounds amazing being able to produce and grow food in these inner city areas. Oftentimes, it doesn't end up working out in everybody's favor. You hear about how urban agriculture can be a solution for food deserts and people who live in these areas, but oftentimes we don't see urban agriculture in these areas. Oftentimes we see urban agriculture in areas that already have 3 or 4 or 5 grocery stores in a 1-mile radius, which again blows my mind. If this has the potential to do such great things, why are we not using it properly or using it that way? These are all questions we as gardeners, we as urban gardeners need to bring to the forefront. These are conversations that we need to make sure we are having in our city and with our elected officials. Other problems that I've seen with urban agriculture are that oftentimes there's not buy-in from the community. And I think that's because sometimes the people who are doing the farming, they may not actually have anything in common with the residents of that area. And I think it is extremely hard to build a connection, to build something long lasting in an area if you don't have any sort of connection to that area. What ends up happening is that it comes off with this savior complex, right? Well, we're here and we're going to put this farm right here and we promise we're going to do amazing things. Look, man, I know farms in my city that are in certain neighborhoods, and the people of the neighborhood have never actually even been to the farm or gotten any benefits from that urban agriculture space. We have to do better. Now, I understand the concept of land value, so I know that oftentimes these lower income areas have cheaper land. So I know that people are able to purchase the land cheaply and then start their farming operation. I know massive overhead is not what we want whenever we're starting a new business. But if we know that the land is cheap and we know that there are benefits associated with urban gardening and just gardening, period, then people who live in these areas, we need to be the ones to purchase the land and to start our own urban agriculture enterprises. Again, these are just my thoughts and my opinions. Now, I don't want you to think that I'm hating on people who go in and do their urban ag thing in certain areas, because I don't. I think just simply exposing people to the idea of gardening and the idea of urban farming is extremely powerful. I just wish that everybody, all people, were exposing all people to urban agriculture. I hate the idea, or I hate the vision that I often see associated with urban agriculture. But hey, man, if you hate something or you dislike it, then you need to be the one to change it. And that is what we are definitely trying to do here at Big City Gardener. All right, so now that we've talked about the problems associated with urban agriculture, let's talk about some of the benefits, right? We can't just sit and talk about all the bad, because urban agriculture has the potential to do amazing things if done properly. There's a lot of pollution associated with shipping products. And if you're unaware, a majority of the food that is in our grocery stores has been shipped across the country. So by simply growing the food closer to the people, we should be able to reduce the amount of pollution that is associated with growing and shipping our food. Another benefit is that if we are growing the food closer to where it is going to be sold, we do not need to pick it as early as other farms tend to do, which means we should end up with more nutrient-dense food that is just more nutritious for us in general. We all know if we pick food before it reaches its peak ripeness, then we're missing out on a gang of nutrients and vitamins. Another benefit of urban agriculture is the idea of accessibility. Now, we talked about how land value is cheap in some of the lower income areas. These are also the areas that suffer from a lack of healthy, fresh food choices and options. So if we were to go and to drop urban farms in these areas, we could provide the option to purchase healthy, fresh food locally. And I am a firm believer that changing your life, changing your mindset starts from within. And in order to do that, you need to ingest the healthiest food possible. Another benefit of urban agriculture is that it has the potential to strengthen a community. If a community can rally behind the idea that they produce a lot of food for not just their neighborhood, but for the city, that can be extremely empowering. And we know that once people get empowered, they tend to change and do things better. Or at least that's how I feel. Another benefit of urban agriculture is the jobs. If every neighborhood had its own farm, we could create jobs for residents of that neighborhood. You never know what you will actually enjoy unless you're given the opportunity to experience it. So we don't know how many people could potentially turn into farmers or gardeners if we are not giving them the opportunity to experience farming or gardening. Now, I'm not saying that everyone who is exposed to urban agriculture will become a gardener or a farmer, but there are many jobs that are associated with agriculture. Don't just think about farming or gardening jobs. Think about everything that is associated with running a business. Another benefit of urban gardening is just efficiency. Urban gardening or urban farming could be where modern science meets agriculture. Now, if you're growing food in an urban area, you're not going to have access to hundreds of acres like you would see a lot of rural farms have. Therefore, you need to be more efficient in your growing practices, right? You get to incorporate things like vertical farming, aquaponics, or hydroponics. And these things have all been proven to be up to 50 times more productive than traditional row farming. So, urban agriculture definitely can increase our efficiency. Along with increasing our efficiency, another benefit of urban agriculture is that we are able to help heal the soil. Stay with me. Now, a lot of these rural farms, they have conventional farming methods. They don't practice regenerative farming. They do not practice organic farming or growing methods. They're dumping a lot of chemicals and pesticides into the soil and onto our plants. These chemicals have a tendency to destroy and kill all of the life within the soil. By moving farming or some of the production of food and growing into urban agriculture methods, we actually give the earth time to revitalize, to regenerate, and to heal itself. So urban agriculture can help heal the planet as well. And the final benefit associated with urban gardening is the idea of setting a good example. We know that human beings are creatures that basically copy each other. We're all copycats. You see somebody do something successful, a lot of people will go and try to copy it. What if we showed people how cool composting is, and then everybody started to try to copy the idea of composting? What if we showed people how dope agriculture and gardening and growing things are in general? Now people are copying that idea as well. Look, man, you and I both know that's how all of these crazes and fads get started. One person does it and then everybody follows. So why don't we just set a dope example and talk about how powerful agriculture and gardening are together? To me, there's nothing cooler than being able to grow your own, just grow it as I say, and to provide for your family at the same time. By setting this good example, I guarantee you that we could change the world. That's right. Urban agriculture can change the world, and you can be a part of it. I can be a part of it. We can all be a part of it, and we should. It's not just for me, right? To quote one of my favorite movies, this here is bigger than Nino Brown.
I told you, this thing is bigger than Nino Brown, and I gotta listen, bro.
Right? Urban agriculture is bigger than Big City Gardener. It's bigger than any gardener that you know. This is something that could actually change the world. All right, so that's it, folks. I'm done with my rant about how powerful and how magical urban agriculture is. Hopefully this motivated and inspired you to go out and find a local farm or find anybody who is involved in urban agriculture and big them up, man. Tell them that you appreciate them and maybe get involved. As always, you know what I'm going to say. Don't forget to get your hands in the soil and just grow it. But before I say that, even though I already said that, you know what I need you to do? Like, follow, leave a comment. Actually, no, man, just leave a comment, right? Because I see all of the comments that people leave, and it's really motivating, man. So thank you for listening to the show. Thank you for rocking with Big City Gardener. Thank you for just being a gardener, a farmer, involved with agriculture somehow, some way. From the bottom of my heart, I actually mean that. We're going to change the world. Let's do it. Just grow it. Before I let you go, I need you to do more than one thing. First, I need you to like, comment, subscribe to the podcast. Second, I need you to tell a friend or two about the show if you enjoyed it. And if you have anybody you think I need to talk to, I should interview, send the name over, put it in the comments, or send me an email, igrow@BigCityGardener. And check me out, man, on Instagram and on all social media platforms, Big City Gardener. We out. Oh, almost forgot. Just grow it.